So we will always find the means to stop such an aggression against our country. And the American Air Force will learn a bitter lesson which they will never forget. Already they are suffering. Why? Because always they used to say American Air Force in this action is a projection of power. It has become a projection of weakness. We will be very active in the OPEC conference because we think there is a tragedy, there is a catastrophe in the oil market, and all of us, and I am sure all other my colleagues, other ministers of OPEC, will put every effort to save this situation. And the only solution is by a serious cut in the production, which is approximately 1.5 to 2 million barrels a day. That's why the statement made yesterday in Amsterdam by 5 ministers, we say it is in conformity with Iraq opinion and the Iraqi request. We hope that this will be implemented practically in the conference. So it is only fair that Saudi Arabia, after the crisis is over, that it should go down to something like 6.5, a maximum of 7 million barrels a day, so that it will allow other OPEC members, countries, to produce its, according to its possibilities. We have emphasized that we cannot export quantities more than what it amounts to $4 billion during the 6 months because of the production limitations which we have mentioned above, and also because of the deterioration of prices in the oil market. موضوع أنبوب النفط العراقي الأردني, we feel totally unnecessary to have any Security Council resolution to support the memorandum of understanding which we have reached between the government of Iraq and the Secretary General, because he signed it on behalf of the United Nations. Mr. Tariq Aziz signed it on behalf of the government of Iraq. It has the power of law. It doesn't need any endorsement.
Brazilian ambassador to you and to visit Iraq. Could you elaborate?
Even Saudi Arabia suffered in '98. As we have mentioned, Saudi Arabia lost due to the American policy which they have promoted. They lost about $18 billion in '98. So it is for the disadvantage of everybody, this collapse of prices, except promoting American policy in the area, and that is depriving OPEC countries, especially Iraq, and of course outside OPEC like Russia, of the necessary revenues. Prices of oil over the last 30 years from 19... We will not deal with any decision where Iraq was not consulted and did not take part in the consultation leading to that decision. It doesn't concern us in any way. So these panels for us, we will not deal with them. They do not concern us. What is important, why we have sent these documentation? We have sent them to make the Security Council aware of what Iraq has implemented as a summary, as a review, as a way of presentation, so that sanctions should be lifted totally and immediately now. Now there are influential circles within the United States itself are saying you should lift the sanctions, not only because it is a criminal, not because it's a genocide, not because it is illegal, but also to promote American interests in the Middle East. America as a nation has lost a lot because of the continuation of the sanctions, fully unjustified.
شكرا لجهودكم جميعا. من أهم المشاريع اللي تم متابعتها هو مشروع أنبوب الغاز بين العراق وتركيا، واللي كما معروف طوله بحدود 1300 كيلومتر، وسعته يؤمن احتياج السوق التركية بحدود 10 مليار متر مكعب سنويا، وباستثمار قدره حوالي 2.5 مليار دولار.
Her iki ülke yetkilileri olarak
regarding cooperation between the two countries, mainly regarding the implementation of the project of the oil pipeline between Iraq and Jordan. Specifically, we will start with the first stage, that is from the border of Iraq and Jordan to Al-Zarqa refinery.
هذا كان ممكن أن يحدث. We did not stop exporting oil. We have finished the second stage on time on 4th or 5th of December this month, but we do not start, we will not start exporting oil unless the distribution plan, which Iraq have informed the United Nations a few days ago that it is ready for discussion so that it can be agreed by the Secretary General. It is important to note that this distribution plan has to be discussed in coordination between the Iraqi government and the Secretary General competent organization. What has arrived totally from the first stage of Memorandum of Understanding, and I repeat, it ended on 5th of June. We have fulfilled our obligation. Only about 55% of that amount arrived in Iraq. Regarding the second stage, till today, and we have now almost a week since we have fulfilled our obligation under the second stage of Memorandum of Understanding on 5th of December, 4th of December, till today, only 4% of the contracts for medicine and the medical appliances has been agreed by the Sanction Committee. I'm not saying delivered to Iraq, agreed by the Sanction Committee, even though it was presented to the Sanction Committee few months ago. Presidential sites are totally forbidden for UNESCO. Absolutely, it is a red line, totally. Why? You should ask me why we have taken this stand as a government, because a symbol of sovereignty. راح أبدي بإيجاز ويمكن أفضل
Please, Mr. Makhluf, you sit here, if you like.
We, the president of the conference and myself were received in audience this morning by His Excellency President Hussein, and we had an excellent meeting with him, in which we explained to the President the purpose of our mission and briefed him on the outcome of our visit to the member countries of the Gulf so far.
The question is, Iraq definitely believes that the market should be stable, it should not be affected negatively in terms of price of barrel. So Iraq for 20 years have taken this position and this policy of solidarity within OPEC members, adhering to shares, adhering to price control, and so on and so forth. And for this reason, OPEC welcomes the re-entry of Iraq in the market.
Ukraine has a good industrial infrastructure which we could use of. We have a very good capability of exporting oil and gas to Ukraine, which they are in desperate need to. So this is an example of international cooperation and complementing each other capability in the economic and industrial aspect. We have two protocols which we have signed. One, general areas for other ministries like industrial sector ministries, Ministry of Higher Education and other ministries. And there is one specific for oil and gas industry protocol which covers all the areas which are possible between Iraq and Ukraine.
Тому в перспективі Україна хотіла б закуповувати 25-30 мільйонів тонн нафти.
The Secretary General has to approve the distribution plan for food and medicine. There has been many delays due to interference by some influential members of the Security Council, contrary to the theme of understanding which we have. However, we expect within a week from now, with high probability of success, that these two actions will be taken. To facilitate and not to create a problem and not to give justification, because we know this is the objective of the special commission, especially by Mr. Butler and his deputy, to create problems and to create friction. So the Iraqi minder, his personal judgment being very constructive, he allowed the chief inspector and the three of the inspectors, according to the sensitive site modality, to enter a building, it's a small building, just to acquire what is, to understand and to comprehend what is in that building, because it was cleared for political party headquarters. And if they are satisfied, this is the end of the problem. When they came back, it seems after some contacts with New York, they insisted that 12 inspectors should enter that small building, and they need 12 inspectors at least. This was refused by the Iraqi minder, and then there are a lot of details which followed.
لشراء قطع الغيار لإصلاح المنشآت النفطية. ماذا تم